Hello, my name is James Grawl. I'm a student at TCC, Tallahassee Community College. And I just saw a video on how to fix a ball, but he didn't really explain the tools. So after spending a little frustration time of figuring it out myself, I decided to make my own video on it. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and create a sphere. What this video is going to do is show you the problems with a sphere and how to fix the problems. So we'll make a sphere and then take a look at what the problem is and then a solution to it. So I'm going to the Create tab and click on Ball, and rather than make it in the top view where the longitudes would all come to the North Pole, I'm going to do it in the right view and have them all come to the side. That way I can work in symmetry mode and fix both ends of the ball. So let me go ahead to Create, get the Ball tool, and I'll hold down Control as I drag, and then I'll come over to the front view over here on the right, keeping Control down, and just click, and then I have my ball, and then I'll disengage the tool by hitting the space bar. I'll go ahead and drag the perspective view out, and holding down Alt and Control, I will back off a little bit. Holding down Alt, I'll rotate. Actually, I want to get a good look at here, because here's the problem. Now the problem is that when you have all these lines coming to the same point, and there's 12 lines here, and you get a little pinching. Now to better show you that problem, I'm going to hit the Q key to bring up the Change Surface Editor, and I'll just give it any old name. But I'm going to give it a name here and change the color maybe to a kind of a dark blue, dark enough where I can get the highlight to show you what the problem is. And I'm going to set the specularity way up because that's going to be the issue. And I'm going to just type in 100%. So we have a great big highlight. And I'll go ahead and say OK to that. And I'll go ahead and tab this into subpatch mode. If you look down here at the bottom, we are in subpatch mode. If I hit the tab key, we'll go to that mode, and then I'm going to hold down Alt and just rotate a little bit so we can talk about the problem. Because you have all these edges coming together at one point, the highlight has kind of a, you can see that kind of a dip like that, or somebody described it as kind of a star pattern that's shooting out. Well, a perfectly sphere ball wouldn't have a sense of shadow here or groove or this pattern. And it becomes apparent that all these lines coming together has kind of a pinching effect. So, and another thing, most of the best Lightwave modelers don't like triangles, they like quads. And so triangles do render, but the best in the business, they all think quads render the best. So we're going to try to fix that problem. Having a little hard time rotating this right now. If you have a hard time rotating it, sometimes you can just come up here and change views and then go back to perspective, and it'll work better. It's just a little bug that sometimes happens. Now, I don't want to work with this big highlight here, so I'm going to hit Q again, bring my specularity down to, well, I got to rename it. It won't let me do anything. I'll just call it 8 or something. Specularity, I guess wasn't happy with the name I set. I'll change the specularity to 0, and we'll just go back to something that's more comfortable for me to look at. I think I'll choose this gray, maybe go a little bit darker, say OK. And specularity is 0, and I'll say OK to that. So that's much easier on my eyes. So now that we've described the problem, let's fix it. We want to get rid of triangles and get quads, and we don't want all these lines coming to that same point. I'm going to go ahead and turn on symmetry. Well, even before I do that, if I turned on symmetry, I'll go ahead and show you what will happen. And I tried to center this coordinate grid by hitting F2. Because I'm in symmetry mode, I'll get something weird happening. See what happened? Because it's in symmetry mode, it doesn't treat the whole object as an object. It splits it in two and tries to do it. So I'm going to undo that, get out of symmetry mode, and then hit F2 to center this properly. So that's going to work fine for me. And I'll go back into symmetry mode now. So anything I do on the right side will be done on the left. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is select two triangles and merge them together. Shift Z to get a quad. So I got one, Shift Z 2, Shift Z 3, Shift Z 4, deselect it, Shift Z 5, Shift Z 6. Okay. Now, by doing that, I had 12 lines all converging. Now I'm down to half that number. I'm down to 6. So far so good. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is going to cause some n-gons to occur, and I'm going to fix that. But n-gons won't render properly in subpatch mode. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Tab key and get out of subpatch mode. They will render properly in Catmull-Clark mode, but I want to do it in subpatch mode, so I'm going to tab out of here for the time being. So now I've got 6, and what I want to do now is, if I merge these down, if I combine these together, Shift Z these, combine polygons, I'll end up with some pretty horrible n-gons. So I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is select all of these, and there's a really good command. I'm going to show it to you. It's under Construct, Combine, Connect, and it has a keyboard shortcut L. Okay? That is a very useful keyboard shortcut, L, because what it'll do is it'll run a line right through the middle of all this. I'll go ahead and hit L and show you. And that's a really cool tool. So I'm going to go ahead and deselect everything, and let's talk about what I've just done. I'll hit the slash key to deselect. So right now I've got these here, and what I'm trying to do is get rid of 6 lines coming together. I want to reduce that by half to 3. So I'm kind of going to do what I did before. I'm going to select 2 of these, Shift Z to merge 2 polys together. I'm going to do it again here, Shift Z, deselect that, and here, Shift Z. Alright, well great. Well, now I'm down to 3. That's as good as I'm going to be able to do. Now the problem is I've got n-gons. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-sided figure. If I hit the Tab key, I'll get an error. It says I can't do it. Only faces with 3 or 4 vertices can do it. So if I say OK, you get this ugly looking thing here. So I'm going to tab out of this and try to fix my n-gons. Okay, here's the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to go to point mode by hitting the space bar. I have some points selected, so I'm going to hit the slash key to deselect everything. And this is the way I'm going to go about fixing these pentagons, I guess, because they have 5 sides. Is I'm going to select this point, and holding down Shift, I'm going to select this point. Oh wait, let me think for a minute. Let me slash out of here. I got to give this a little bit of thinking now. What I want to do is come here, hold down Shift, and here, and then hit L to combine them, and that's going to give me 2 triangles here. I had to do a little bit of thinking on that. Well, by creating two triangles, and I'm going to go ahead and slash out of here and go back to my polygon selection mode. We know I can take two triangles, and two triangles together make a quad. So I'm going to merge those together, Shift Z. So I've got a quad here. Now, if you take a look right next to it, because I combine these, I've got a quad here. I don't have a pentagon anymore. Now, let me go ahead and deselect this. But over here, I've got another pentagon, and I got to turn that into a quad. So rather than select these points, these are already good. This thing's good. So I'm going to come over here and get part of this pentagon, and turn it into two triangles. So I'm going to click here. Oops, let's go to point mode. Click here, shift click here, and shift click here. So when I hit L, L will connect these points. L is a very versatile tool. Works with points, lines, and polys. Very nice, L. So once again, now I got two triangles here, and I'm going to go ahead and deselect and hit the space bar to get over to poly mode, and we know two triangles will make a quad. Shift Z. Great. Let me deselect that. This is a quad, no problem. Now I've got two pentagons here I got to fix. So the way to do that is go back to point mode, grab this one, shift click to add to that, and then over here. So when I connect these by hitting L, I'm going to be making two triangles. And once again, I'll go ahead and deselect that, and I can go to poly mode and make two triangles into a quad by Shift Z, by merging them. Now let's deselect this and see what we got. We only got three lines coming together. That was what we wanted, and we wanted all quads. Let's hit tab and see how it looks. Okay. Now in the other video I saw, when the person did this, he did some relaxing, and that's a concept where your points here kind of match up with your points here, but I wasn't proficient in my understanding on it, so I won't teach about relaxing right now. But I think this is looking pretty good. But the test is to see if that highlight looks better. So let's go back to Q, and we'll pick a, well, we got to give it another name, otherwise it doesn't work. And then we'll come over here and go get that blue color again, something like that. And the idea was to ramp up the highlight here. Type it in. That goes really slow. 100. Okay. And then we'll see if the highlight looks better. Well, it's not a perfectly round highlight, but you're not getting that star pattern. So now in the other video, the person did do some things, what I said before, relaxing, which I can't really talk about because I don't fully grasp it. So that's the end of this video. I hope you learned something. The reason I made this video is that a lot of videos on the internet, I don't think they explain it real well, what they're doing. They kind of do it, and you sit there like, how do you do that? You know? So I hope that in this video I explain things so everybody can reproduce this very, very easily. Thank you very much, and God bless.